Here are 5 ugly truths that no one wants to hear when they're seeing a therapist. So I've been a therapist for a while, and there's a few things that clients they just don't want to hear. Sometimes they come to therapy because they just want to be heard, or they want someone to agree with them. And that's actually one of the ugly truths that I want to tell you here. It's the fact that hey, it's not always a therapist, but sometimes it's you. Don't think because I don't agree with you that I don't like you. Don't think because I don't challenge you or that I do challenge you that, hey, I'm not on your team. My job is to be completely objective and give you the advice that you need to hear. It's kind of like when you go to a doctor and they give you the medicine that tastes nasty. It's not because, well, we hate you. It's because we know this is what you need. And sometimes that's the truth that people don't want to hear. Sometimes people will jump from therapist to therapist because they're not agreeing with their story or they're not telling them what they want to hear. Now, don't get me wrong, I will be empathetic. I will listen to you. But at some point in time, I do have to call you out. And sometimes I have to do that just because I value being a helpful therapist. If I didn't, I'll just agree with you and let you kind of live in la la land and let you just be free and have happiness and think that there's nothing wrong or that you're perfect. And I'll be doing you a disservice. And I'll be honest, early on in my therapist career, that was something that I struggled with. Calling people out, holding them accountable, or telling them, hey, last week you told me you wasn't gonna go back to your ex, but now this week you're telling me that you are. Make it make sense. And that's one of the ugly truths about therapy is that sometimes, hey, it's not the therapist, but it's you. Stop switching therapists and give it a shot. And you giving a shot, it may be different for other people. Like, what if you were to ask me in my expert opinion, how long should you stay with a therapist? I would say give it anywhere from maybe 6 to 10 sessions. Now, why do I say that? Well, in the first few sessions, the therapist is really just getting context about the problem. And then after that, we have to set goals. And from there, we have to give you the techniques to help you to overcome these goals. And that's just not something that we can do in 1, 2, or 3 sessions. So if you're looking for a therapist and you found one, make a commitment to stay for 6 to 10 weeks, 6 to 10 sessions before you decide, hey, this is the therapist or this isn't the therapist for me. All right, the ugly truth number 2, and this one I think I get a lot of flack for. No one wants to hear this because we're so used to hearing hacks and secrets and this and that. Like, how can you make it easier? And sometimes you just can't make things easier. Sometimes you just have to do the hard work. So, ugly truth number 2 that people don't want to hear, you got to practice. There are certain things that you cannot just accomplish in a day, in a week, even in a month or so. There's just certain things that you just got to practice over and over and over again. I can't tell you how many times I get entrepreneurs who are struggling with social media posts. And I tell them, hey, right now your posts don't need to be perfect, but I just need you to be consistent. Let go of all the new stuff or the flashy stuff and all that stuff. Just be consistent with what you have. Do that and watch your skills build from there. But sometimes people don't want to start off small. They don't want to be wrong or incorrect or be anything less than perfect. And that keeps people on the sideline. I had one client though, he actually took me up on this. I told him, hey, every week I need you to speak to 10 new clients. 10 new clients. And at first, he was kind of like, I don't know. You know, he may have done like 5 or 6 or 7. But every week I would say, all right, I know we talked about all this new stuff in the session today, but the goal is still the goal. You need to find 10 people to market to so that way it gives us the best chance to see if our marketing works. And he did. And guess what happened? Not only is he able to leave his job, but he's also able to increase his prices and eventually be able to support his family on a better level, on a higher level. And that's something that you just cannot replace. You have to do the hard work. So ugly truth number 2, and people don't want to hear it, but you just have to practice. No matter what I say, you have to go out there, you have to execute. If you don't do that, hey, look, it's been fun. It's been great. Like, I love talking to you. And sometimes I tell clients that, like, hey, you're a great person. And in another life, hey, we probably would have been friends. But you're not coming here for a friendship, and neither am I. We're coming here to do work. And therefore, you have to practice. Shout out to AI if you know who that is. All right, ugly truth number 3, and I had to break this down to a client maybe like 2 weeks ago. No matter how much therapy you go to, you will never be perfect. Stop thinking that therapy is a place to get perfect and start to understand that therapy is a place for you to progress more closely to your goals and to your values, to get more in alignment. If you look at it from that perspective, it actually releases a lot of pressure to be perfect, to be great, right? And I shouldn't say great. I'm going to stick to perfect because I do want you guys to be great. But here's the thing, guys. Therapy is not a new way to try to increase your perfectionism. Because if it is, it's actually going to do you more damage than good, because you're like, man, I've gone to therapy for 3 years and I'm still struggling with anxiety. Well, if that's the case, I'll say two things. One, maybe the method that you're going about it is wrong. And that method, and I'm going to contradict what I said in the first one, it may be the therapist, or maybe it's you not executing it. Maybe there's more things we can add to your program or to your treatment, whether that's exercising, eating better foods, or maybe even medication. But at the end of the day, therapy is not a place to become more perfect, but it's a place to become more in alignment. If you look at it from that perspective, again, you actually release the pressure to be perfect, and you'll start to take more action. And I'll be even honest, like, not only will you take more action, but you're going to get a lot better than other people who are trying to be perfect, because they're waiting so long to take action. They're waiting for things to align, like all the stars to align before they take an action. But by that time, you've done taken 10 steps forward and they've only taken one. And that's a great way to overjump, to overleap, to move past a lot of your competition. Just got to take action. All right, number 3. And this one, man, I love Warren Buffett for this, but he's right. So number 3, the ugly truth is that price is what you pay and value is what you get. Hey, look, I'll be honest. There's some places where you can go and you can see a therapist, right? But will they be an effective one? Will they give you time and the attention that you need? I don't know. Because there are some agencies out here who have therapists seeing about 40 clients. And I'll tell you, as a therapist, right, that is a lot. It's so much so that you can't get personal attention from your therapist. Or if you're going through, let's say, a crisis, it's very hard for you to get in contact with your therapist. And I can even make another argument, right? Because here, I'll tell you how I do mine, right? I'll tell you how I do my business. Right now, I'm seeing anywhere from 20 to 25 clients, right? And that's a good caseload, depending on who you ask and things like that. It leaves me a lot of free time. I work, in terms of therapy clients, less than 30 hours a week, because I have to take notes and all that stuff. And it's the same thing for my coaching. And because I see that limited amount of people, I can do podcasts like this that can actually help my clients when they're not seeing me. Or I can send them blast them emails, right? Newsletters and things like that can help them in a bind when they're not seeing me. Or even reach out to old clients that I haven't seen in a while because they're getting all of my free stuff. Those are the things that you get when you see a therapist that maybe you have to pay a little bit more for, right? And then also there's a lot of other things I'm not going to disclose here, but there's a lot of things that I do that's a lot different from other therapists to help make sure that you reach your goals. Now, if you want to be frugal, right, you have every right to do that. But think about this. What is the most valuable thing you own? It's not your car, it's not your house, right? But it's your health. And even more specifically, it's your mental health. Because you can get a heart transplant, but I haven't seen anyone get a brain transplant. To my knowledge, that's not done yet. I don't know what Elon Musk got cooking up, but that's not possible yet. So what does that say? Well, when it comes to your health, but specifically your mental health, that is the place that you don't want to actually skip the cost. You want to invest in that, and that's what you want to see it as. You want to see it as an investment. So an ugly truth is that, hey, if you want to go cheap, you may get cheap quality. And I don't know if you want cheap quality when it comes to your mind and your mental health. If you do, maybe we should have another conversation about self-worth. And that may actually be another episode that I do. So invest in yourself, guys. Ugly truth number 3, I believe, is, hey, price is what you pay, but value is what you get. And actually, I think that's number 4 because I'm coming up with number 5. All right, so number 5, the last ugly truth about therapy is this. You are causing your own problems. Now, one thing that I love in a book that I did a book club with, and side note, that's another reason why I charge a lot more, so I can do book clubs with my clients and people that aren't my clients, right? Because I have the free time because, well, you get what I'm saying. But we read a book, and it was called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the first habits that Stephen Covey talks about is the power of being proactive. And he talks about being able to identify all the things that you can control, but also all the things that you can't control. And by focusing on the things that you can't control, you're going to overwhelm yourself with stress and you're going to start to feel hopeless. But if you focus on the things that you can control, so your actions, the words that you say, your behaviors, if you focus on those things, right, the things that you can control, it actually gives you more power than you think, and it'll lead you to having this sense of agency, This is the belief, the power, the feeling that you can actually control and dictate things in your life. And that actually give you more hope than other people. So what am I saying? Well, an ugly truth is that, hey, you may be causing your own problems. But that should also encourage you, because if you're causing your own problems, guess what? You can solve them. So those are the 5 ugly truths of therapy. And I want you guys to look at them. And if you're thinking about going to therapy, or if you're in therapy, I don't want you to be afraid of these things. I give you these ugly truths because they're hardcore facts that you need to know. If you don't know these things, if you struggle to believe these things, you may have a tough time in therapy, and you may feel that therapy doesn't work, which actually will throw you into this pit of suffering because you're not solving your problems. So this is Coach Wells. Thank you guys for checking out the Players Coach podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, guys. I'll see you later.